Thank you for joining us with Conversations with My Real Friends. This is Jennifer. I'm joined by Carl Lindner of Assessment Counseling Services. Thank you for joining me, Carl.
Nice to be here.
So we're going to be talking about property tax reassessment as it relates to someone transferring a property into an entity.
Sure.
Right? So under the law, as an attorney, the concept for a person is a natural person. So you are a natural person. Did you know that?
That sounds awesome.
I'm a natural person. However, your company, ACS, or my company, RELAW, they're also persons under the law, but they're legal persons.
Gotcha.
Right? So in California, there's an exemption for reassessment when someone's transferring a property from themselves to an entity they own, or vice versa.
Yes, correct.
Correct? So explain how that works and how do we document that?
Sure. So the easiest way is a good example. We own Company X LLC. I own 50%. Jennifer owns the other 50%. When you want to buy a property, or you want to have an ownership of a property, let's say you and I own it outside of a legal entity. It's I own 50%, you own 50% as tenants in common.
Right.
In this example, we want to move it to our legal entity, the LLC, which has the exact same ownership.
Right.
Has to be exact to the millionth of a percent.
Correct.
But it can be done very simply. So what happens is you do the deed of the two members at the same time to the legal entity. You put verbiage on the top of the deed as far as exempt from documentary transfer tax. And then the assessor's going to want you to prove it.
Right.
In order to prove the ownership's the same before and after the transfer, you have to prove, in examples, if this is an LLC, you have an operating agreement. You can prove it using tax returns.
Right.
There are many different ways you can prove that the ownership was the same before and after the transfer. And in that case, you get excluded from reassessment, and your property taxes do not change.
Even though you moved it from yourself to your entity, or back the other way around.
It works either way. Correct.
Right. If we don't do that, right, either we don't document it properly, or say you owned 49% and I owned 51% originally, but now the LLC says 50-50. How does the assessor deal with that?
Oh, that's a bad problem. The assessor's going to see that, and the ownership's different. Like I said, it has to be to the millionth of a percent.
Right.
I mean, I once had a discussion with the assessor in which we had to go through tax returns. We were back to the 100,000th place in the decimals, and they still argued with me about it.
Right. But that's what we're dealing with because if we have that situation, it's 100% reassessment, correct?
That's correct. If the percentages are not the same, 100% reassessment.
Because, again, it's a legal entity, right? A legal person, which is different from the original legal or natural persons.
That's correct.
Right. So, plan ahead.
We love planning.
And if you do have issues in this situation, how does someone reach you to get some help?
We can be reached at our website, acstax.com, or drop us an email to discuss what's going on. If you want some planning advice, we can absolutely walk you through that. It's info@acstax.com.
Great. Thank you, Carl, for joining me.
Of course.
And thank you for joining us. We hope to see you soon.